I've got a ridiculous project that I'm working on. When it comes to builds, like I'm not that good at it, so I don't usually know what I'm doing, but I'm kind of just like winging it and pushing through here. But I've got a stupid idea here. So I've got the wheels off of that mini bike right there, and I'm trying to see if I could put it on the Stark Varg, and we'll just kind of go from there. So I just wanted to hang out, chat with you guys while I work on this a little bit, and if you guys have any ideas for some videos that you want us to do, make sure to leave a comment there. But this is something I think I want to do a little bit more often, like if we're ever doing like builds and stuff, because I don't really show builds in our actual YouTube videos. I usually just show like a quick montage of a build, but I think it'd be kind of fun to take you guys behind the scenes whenever we do some of these builds and just kind of chat and hang out. So that's what we're gonna start doing from now on. And yeah, let's just kind of go from there. We'll hang out. Let's see if we can make this actually work. I really don't know if it's gonna work, so. All right. Doesn't that just look so ridiculous though? Oh man, it's funny. Actually, I got this idea from, there's another YouTube channel. I think I saw them on TikTok first, but it's called Low Garage. And they do a lot of funny stuff with the Stark Vargs. And I saw like this little TikTok they posted with the front wheel just like this. And I was like, I wonder if we could do the same thing. So we're gonna basically just try to make it work. I wanna see if we can put the little wheels on both sides. So it would be like the most ridiculous setup having an 80 horsepower Stark Varg with these tiny wheels. So we'll see how this goes. All right. So far, I've noticed that working on the Stark is so much easier than like my KTM. They have everything dialed so well. Like removing these axles is a piece of cake, and I'm pretty sure the rear one will be just as easy. It's just cool the way that they design a lot of their stuff. I mean, basically, you don't have to do as much. Like you just loosen the nut, and then the axle just slides right out. Yeah, just like that. Like super cool design. The way that they did all this, it's just so much easier. Like even compared to my KTM and stuff, I actually really like the Stark. It's cool. So that comes out, and then I'm pretty sure I just pull this. Let's make sure I'm not gonna just drop the front end, but okay. Got the axle out. No problems there. All right. Now I'll just take the chain off. Oh, I was gonna put some gloves on and I kind of just forgot to. Now I got greasy fingers, but oh well. Oh gosh, dude. Okay, we're good. That's cool. I really like this. Nice design by Stark. You'll have to let me know too, in the comments, what we should do with the Stark. What's up, Summer? Summer Dawson? How's it going? All right, we're doing some crazy mods to the start right now. This is the part that I don't know if it's gonna work very well or not. So I'm basically taking this wheel off of the mini bike, and the thing that I'm mostly worried about is the sprocket, because it's a completely different sprocket, and the thickness is where I'm really thinking it's going to be a problem. So I might have to like somehow figure out a way to put a thicker sprocket on here. Yeah, I don't know yet. Let's just see if we can get this to just sit in place for now before we do anything else. That's a problem. Okay. So it looks like this wheel is a little bit too wide, and this like, I'm either gonna have to take off, I mean, I guess I don't have options, but I gotta basically take the sprocket and the disc brake off so that it can even fit, because it like doesn't even fit inside right now. Wow, that surprises me, because the front one fit, and I thought for sure that the rear would be able to fit a lot easier. Interesting. That's the thing about like trying stuff like this, is there's no way of knowing how it's gonna go. That is a tight fit. If those bolts weren't there, it would fit pretty flush. Yeah, that's crazy. The problem is that there's no front brake either. So I would like to have at least one brake. Man, I don't know how to make that work though, because there's not really a way. There's not a way to put a disc brake on the front. So I almost gotta like move. Man, this just doesn't fit. That's the problem. It doesn't fit with this rear brake. Let's try just like moving this out of the way. And let's just see what that's like. Because now it should fit in here. Okay. Wow. Okay, so the chain guard is definitely gonna have to come off if this does end up working. That is the most ridiculous setup I have ever seen. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. If we can make this work, this is gonna be one of the funniest things I've ever seen, with a Stark Varg cruising around on like mini bike wheels. That is so funny. I'm really curious. Yeah, there's no way this sprocket's gonna work. No way. Yeah, the spacing is completely off. So it would for sure need a new sprocket. And it basically needs to be a little narrower. The other thing is like the disc brakes and all of that is gonna be a pain in the butt. It's gonna be really hard to get that going to where the brakes will work with it. And somehow I gotta get a new sprocket on there, which I'm guessing it's gonna have to be like more of a custom designed sprocket mounted on there somehow. Cause I don't know if I could take this one and slap it on here because the bolt pattern is just completely different. Yeah, not a ton of options there, that's for sure. Plus the Stark sprocket is quite a bit thicker, which is only gonna make it harder to fit in the swing arm. That's crazy. Yeah, and like with how small that wheel is, the chain guard would basically be touching the ground. So I'm gonna definitely have to take that off. And then the clearance, like the ground clearance is gonna be next to nothing. The skid plate right here is probably gonna get some use, that's for sure. This is like looking ridiculous though so far. That is so funny. I've never seen a Stark with that small wheels. Okay. Yeah, there's definitely not a way to put a disc brake on the front. So we're definitely not gonna have a front brake, which is a little sketchy, especially with a bike this much power. But I think we could manage somehow to get the rear to work, maybe. I'm not 100% sure yet, but we might be able to. Okay, I'm gonna pull this and let's just we'll take a look at it, see what our options are. Yeah, I definitely want to try to get the rear brake to work. It's just like, it's just too wide. That surprises me. That's so surprising. Maybe if I could, we're definitely gonna have to get it. The sprocket is gonna have to come off, but I wonder, I might be able to put the sprocket on like the other side of this. So like right here, if I could like move the sprocket, it's mounted on the outside right now. If I could move it so it's like mounted on the inside with like a custom sprocket, I think that would work and that would save us some room. The only thing is that's gonna really suck the wheel over, but I think that would still work okay. It's quite the patterns there. And this sprocket here. Okay, so I'm just gonna take the sprocket off of this little wheel and then I'm gonna mess around with the Stark sprocket and just see like what we can do, if there's any way that we can get it to fit on here. Got some good Loctite on that. Now we got that removed. I basically just pulled the sprocket off of the little wheel, and like I was saying a little bit earlier, if I could somehow get the sprocket to mount, instead of on the outside of this, if I could get it to mount on the inside of that, that would save us a ton of space, and it would probably make this work. The other hard thing is just gonna be like getting spacers so that this will even work. Oh man, I really don't know. I don't know if it's gonna work. I mean, for reference here, this is the Stark Varg axle and this is the mini bike axle. They're very different in size. And so I'm basically gonna need to somehow build a shaft that I can adapt from this to this. And yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work. All right. The start does look so funny though with the little wheels. That's crazy. If we can get that to work, this is gonna be so funny. I think the front's gonna be doable for sure. That shaft should be a little easier to do. The rear one is gonna be very difficult though. In fact, like almost impossible. All right. Yeah, it's kind of basically identical on both sides. But same thing here, actually, is I could maybe get this over enough to, yeah, that wouldn't work. And I guess just thinking about this now too, I don't think it would work with the Stark sprocket because it's seriously like the size of the wheel. I don't know, it might. What's up? How's it going, everybody? Okay. Basically just pulling apart the Stark Varg, trying to put some mini wheels on it. Okay, that's definitely gonna be another issue. The bolts for the Stark sprocket are a lot bigger. There's just not enough meat here for that. Okay. I'm not too sure if it's gonna work with that. Let me know if you guys also have like any other video ideas that you would like to see us try out, or like a comment of some videos that you've liked so far that you've seen from us. Definitely appreciate the feedback. Yeah, basically, I gotta figure out somehow how I can swap this and make it work with a Stark sprocket. I don't know how this is gonna work. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to definitely go make some modifications. So let's, yeah, I guess we'll resume this another time. Everyone that watched, appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next time.